Good morning. It's Friday, and I hope you have had a great week. I don't know about you, but there are times when things are etched in my mind, and no matter how hard I try, I can't get rid of them. Like the time I performed a wedding ceremony for a couple, and I called him by the wrong name. I didn't just call him by the wrong name, I called him by her first husband's name. I don't know why I did that. I'd never met the first husband at all. I had heard his name in conjunction with her name for many times over the years. And so somehow during that service, it just came out. If I could have crawled under the front pew, I would have done that. I also remember the time when, and I've tried to forget this, whenever it was my very first church. I hadn't been out of seminary very long, and it was Sunday morning. There had been a wedding the night before at the church. This was somewhat of a traditional church, had very traditional furnishings. It had those thrones across the front that the people sat in who were going to be participating in the service. And the chair that I sat in had, it was just worn out. And so I didn't sit in the middle. It had a box seat, because if I did, I would sink down in it. So whenever I came in, I would come in and sit down somewhat on the edge, on the frame. I did that every week, and it worked fine. Well, there had been a wedding the night before. The furniture had been moved around. Somehow things didn't get put back really well. So I came out, and I sat down, and as soon as I sat down, the seat flipped and went straight through the frame. The box seat slipped and went straight through the frame. And when it went through the frame, I went through the frame as well. The only thing that caught me from going all the way to the ground were the arm pieces, the arm rails. So I was hanging like this. My knees were way up in the air in front of me, and I dropped my notes, my Bible, my hymnal. Everything was just strewn in front of me. I tell you, it was probably the fastest I ever moved in getting up out of that thing, picking up all of the stuff up off of the floor. And the choir just laughed and laughed and laughed. And they told that story until the day I left. There are some stories like that are just sort of etched in our minds. There are some stories that I have forgotten, but maybe they come back. Not too long ago, we saw some friends from a former church. He was reminding me of the time, I think it was like a summer picnic that we were having in the community, and lots of people were around. We were sitting at picnic tables. He was giving me a hard time over something, and so I picked up my napkin and I wadded it up to throw it at him and across the table. And when I did that, a wind must have picked it up or something. Anyway, that napkin just made kind of a turn, and it hit this lady who was visiting, and that was her first time. It hit her right in the face. Oh gosh, I could have crawled under that table and left. I'd forgotten about that. But thankfully there are friends in our lives who will remind us of those kinds of things, and who will keep reminding us of those kinds of things. Now, I tell you there's nothing devotional about them. There's nothing godly about them, other than the fact that, one, it reminds me that we are all people. We're all human, and we all do really stupid stuff and crazy stuff and embarrassing stuff. And also it reminds me that, how good it is to laugh. And it is to laugh at ourselves. And to go back and to find those things, mostly those things that are embarrassing, and to be able to laugh and to find some joy in it. So, I really don't have anything other to say to you today other than I would encourage you, find something funny in your life, in your past, share it with somebody, laugh at yourself, and fulfill a great gift that God has given to you, the gift of laughter. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you'll join us on Sunday as we worship, and then a little bit different schedule next week. I'll see you on Tuesday. So have a good weekend.